Hey guys, Harris here. And if you never noticed I was Asian, hats off to you for not seeing race.
If you're a content creator, you need music. Streambeats is a royalty-free music library that's available on literally every single streaming platform. It's completely safe and it's completely free. Like seriously, if you don't have the money to pay for Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, you can go and listen to the songs on YouTube or even just download the original files from the Alpha Gaming Discord for free. You will never get a DMCA strike on either your Twitch or your Twitter, which is apparently a thing now. Also, if you want to use it on YouTube, you won't even get demonetized. Seriously, it's the music we're using in every single YouTube video. It's completely safe. In the description down below are links to the 4 Spotify playlists, or if you use a different streaming service, just search Harris Heller. It's on all of them. Enjoy it. They are yours. Guys, we got something a little bit special today. If you're not familiar with my streams, then you probably don't know that Senpai Records, which makes stream beats, has officially hired someone full-time to produce some awesome music in-house. He's a friend of mine, Ryan. That was not actually me in the last scene. Sorry. But Ryan is a professional audio engineer. We actually went to school together studying sound recording technology. I dropped out, he finished. So he knows things more than I do. And he's worked professionally as a sound engineer for the last, how long have you been doing that?
10 years.
10 years?
It's actually been 8, but 10 just sounds like nice.
It's actually 8, but 10 sounds better?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go with that. So I'm gonna start bringing him into these videos whenever we talk about audio so we can get a little bit more of a professional brain on the topic. Do you have a good side?
Hi. Every side is my good side.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even my back side.
So I've done videos on audio. You
Have not.
Well, I was gonna say you, however, know more about audio than I do.
Sure.
Let's talk about the 5 biggest things you see streamers doing wrong.
So I stream on Twitch. Come hang out. I produce music, mix, do audio things. The link to my channel should be in the description below.
Yeah, Ryan does a lot of stuff for stream beats on stream. Sometimes you'll hear him working on some of the new music that's going to be released soon.
So as someone who's worked for a long time in a professional studio, after I watched a lot of Twitch, there were a handful of very common audio issues that I saw on Twitch. One of them being super roomy sounding microphone.
I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't know how to fix that.
A really easy free solution is just to fill your room with stuff. You don't need to buy a bunch of foam that's overpriced. Even though that does do something.
Like mine.
Yours looks great though.
That's actually why I bought it.
Okay.
It's just cheap Amazon foam because I thought it looked cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't even do that much.
I don't want to say it does nothing, but really the biggest thing you want to do is find something that will soak up sound. So that could be a couch, that could be stuffed animals, that could be pillows. Another thing you can do is even hard objects that reflect the sound in different directions will prevent it from sounding like echoey, because that sound won't be reflecting into your microphone. Yeah, so that could be like a bookshelf, like a bunch of books bouncing sound in different directions. Yeah.
So you don't need foam. Stop. So what you're saying is stop buying expensive foam if you're a streamer.
I mean,
this stuff wasn't expensive, by the way.
Okay.
This is like 50 cents a piece.
You do you. And if you have a wooden floor, hardwood floors, just put a carpet down or a rug or something like that. Super easy.
Because it's blank parallel walls.
Yeah.
And so floor and your carpet, it's like the biggest one.
Yeah. Basically anything that's a flat, hard surface will make it sound echoey.
And one other thing that'll work really well for this is mic placement, which is, in general, by the way, mic placement's probably like a fix to almost all audio problems. So we'll talk about that in a later one down the line. What's the next mistake?
Another thing I notice is people just clipping, like distorting. They're too loud.
Yeah, when they like scream and it just gets real fuzzy.
Yeah, the solution really just comes down to setting proper levels. So it could be the little knob on your USB mic, the gain knob. Maybe that's too high. Maybe you just need to turn down your fader in OBS, the little audio meter, a little bit. Typically, I'd try to shoot for your audio kind of dancing between like the green and the yellow on that OBS meter.
During normal talk or doing like your loudest portions?
Normal talk. Probably.
Okay.
Like that's, you kind of want that green and yellow divide to be your average. If you're really loud, I would hope that you don't get too much into the red, like barely touching the red.
Okay. The next one is just having a deep voice, right? Is that the best thing?
Markiplier.
Oh, that man's got a sexy voice.
He's the envy of all Asian males.
Is he really?
I don't know. I envy his voice. Yeah, so another thing that kind of goes along with that, with setting volume levels, is compression. Because I hear a lot of streams where their loud parts are so loud that they hurt my ears, but then their quiet parts are so quiet that I can't hear them.
Or like the game sounds overpower the volume of the voice when they're getting quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And a compressor will help your sound be more consistent volume-wise. It effectively squishes your audio, so it takes the loud things and turns them down and then makes your quieter things louder. So if I was setting a compressor for my voice on stream...
I'm curious to know if you can do this better than I can. Because setting someone's compression settings like through the camera is like next to impossible.
This is very tricky, but I guess I could just say some guidelines.
Okay.
First of all, the ratio, 4:1 is a great ratio to compress at.
By the way, if you're trying to do this, there's an audio filter in OBS called, is it compressor or compression? I think it's compression. That's what we're talking about. Look up an audio filter called compression. It's built into OBS. You'll see ratio and thresholds, all this stuff.
Yeah, so ratio at 4:1 is the ratio. I record vocals in the studio at that ratio all the time. So then once you set your ratio, the next thing I do is turn your threshold down until you can hear it turning your vocal down. Once you can hear it turning your vocal down, you know that you're hitting that threshold.
There are like different like threshold styles. Like if you're going for like a radio style and it's super compressed, you turn it way down low. But if you're trying to have a little bit more dynamics, you don't want to turn the threshold down too much.
Yeah, once you hear it affecting your voice, you know you're in a good spot, and then you can play with it. If you can experiment and bring it down lower and see if you like that sound more. Then once you do that, you should turn your vocal back up using makeup gain, because your compressors turn down your voice. Use the makeup gain to turn your vocal up, or I think in OBS it's called output gain. But it makes up for the volume you lost through compression.
And you don't need to touch the attack or the, what's it, sustain or attack or release?
This is attack or release. No, those are usually, I don't even know. I need to look at that. I don't know what it is.
I don't think anyone's supposed to touch those. Just don't touch those.
I wouldn't worry about attack and release. For our purposes, let's not worry about attack and release.
Yeah.
The default settings should be okay. The next thing I want to talk about is EQ, or equalization. And a common problem I hear is a voice that sounds really dull, or like almost like it's covered, like or a vocal sound that's really thin. And equalization allows you to adjust the tone of your microphone and your voice so that it sounds full and rich. Yeah, so if your vocal is sounding really dull or almost like muddy or like covered, I would boost around 1K or even 3K or even 10K if you want. All those high things from like 1K and above will help open up your voice. It'll bring out all this airiness and make it a little more legible. Intelligible, a little more intelligible.
So 1K and higher?
Yeah, 1K and higher.
Okay. This is an example of what a microphone that maybe sounds a little bit dull would sound like. You can see above 1000 hertz, everything's cut down a couple decibels. So if you have a microphone that's dull, maybe your voice itself is lacking high frequencies, this is what it'll sound like. And this is what it'll sound like if you boost those frequencies just above 1 kilohertz.
If your voice sounds really thin, then you can start boosting lower mid frequencies, which is like 500 is pretty mid. That'll give you some full presence. 200 gets more into that boomy fullness. The Markiplier.
The Markiplier voice. Wait, what about between 500 and 1000? Because that's where it starts to get muddy. If you have that in there. My lips stuck together and sounded muddy. That was weird. But like that's where it starts to get muddy. right? So I usually cut around like 500 hertz.
Yeah, I mean, it's all, you got to listen. Again, it's a little hard to just say remotely what it's going to sound like, but it's worth playing with. 500 you can cut and see if it makes your vocal sound a little cleaner, for sure.
This is what your audio is going to sound like if your voice or your microphone is lacking some of the low-end frequencies. And this is the rich presence boost you get if you boost those low frequencies up just a little bit.
Below 200 starts to get really boomy, and I would cut out even up to 100 hertz. So you can do what's called a high pass filter or a low cut and just cut out all that low stuff.
You gotta do it the opposite way because it's...
Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like a low end roll off.
Yeah, low end roll
Yeah,
off.
on my Go XLR, I've got the low end. I got to see exactly what frequency it's going to, but I got the low end roll off because it gets rid of footsteps upstairs and AC and fans and stuff. Just that low rumbly stuff.
There's a lot of low rumble that'll come through that you do not need in your vocal. So I would keep bringing up that until you feel like your vocal sounds too thin, and then bring it back until you get that fullness and just stop right there. Because all this lower stuff, nobody needs to hear.
All right, let's finally get into mic placement. That one we promised them in the very beginning.
Oh, mic placement.
Yeah, I feel like mic placement solves literally everything we've already talked about.
Yes, it's very important.
Where do I put my mic?
In front of your face. Yeah.
I hate that you just said that.
Make sure you're speaking into the front of your mic.
Oh, no, instead of the back of the mic? I've seen that.
Make sure.
Or the top of the mic.
Or the top.
If it's a front facing, like the Blue Yeti. You know how many people I see talking into the top of that thing?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, no, talking to the front. Talk like this, not like this.
Yeah. So make sure you know where your mic is picking up sound. I think the biggest overarching thing to think about is signal to noise ratio. So your signal will be your voice, and you want that to be as loud as possible in the microphone compared to all this other noise that's going on around you. Your voice bouncing off walls, neighbor next door with a really big dog, whatever.
It's usually the really little dog.
That's true.
Big dogs don't bark.
That's true. It's the little dogs.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that your mouth is close enough to that microphone so that your voice is louder than all the other outside noise. If I'm using a dynamic microphone like a Shure SM7B, I'll probably be about an inch away because dynamic microphones need you to be that close. Condensers you can't afford to be a little further away for sure. Where it's pointing on your face actually makes a difference. The higher you are, if you're like closer to your nose, it'll make it brighter, more nasally. It'll make your voice more sibilant, which means it might pick up more of the S's if you're running into that problem.
It also makes it so the audience can't see your face.
Yeah, that too. Also, really bad for gaming. Maybe that's my problem.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm so bad. Lower. If you're too low, you'll start getting all this low, muddy, boomy chest and throat stuff. Try to go right in between your nose and your chin, aka your mouth.
Whoa. What do you think of my suggestion that I've given a couple times where just to avoid plosives, you have it off center a little bit? Yeah. That also makes it easier to game. It makes it easier to be in front of the camera. And you still get just as good a sound, right?
Yeah, that totally works. As long as it's pointed at your mouth, you don't need direct air into the microphone. In fact, you probably don't want that.
And the ultimate question, does it change if the microphone is up and down, on its side, or upside down?
Absolutely not.
And nothing at all.
No. Yeah. It doesn't matter how your mic is oriented this way, as long as it's pointed at the sound source, which is your voice.
So if I have it upside down, it doesn't make my voice upside down? It doesn't sound like I'm in Australia.
If your mic is upside down, your toilet will flush the other direction.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Guys, I hope this was helpful. If you think there was something we missed, we'll have the link to Ryan's Twitch in the description down below. And go give him a follow and hang out and watch him make some new Streambeat stuff. You wanna carry us out?
Yeah. Happy listening.
That was stupid. You ruined it. You ruined everything.
Oh, man.